Well, welcome YouTube. Today we're going to talk about welcome Facebook. We're going to talk about how the coronavirus is impacting the market. I think we've all seen it in the real estate market. Um, I, oh, this is tough for me to say, but I'm calling mortgage crisis 2.0. I mean, I suppose there's a chance that we could get a cure and the market would unseize really quickly. But I'm putting it together today. I did the research. I restarted UpsideDownRealEstate.com, my website from years ago. I have tons of 10-year-old videos on YouTube about people's options. It'll be updated for Californians soon. But let me say why this is difficult. We're going to start. Well, let me start here. This made me call it. I got a call from Phil. Phil is a realtor with me here in San Diego. He's also been in Arizona looking to renovate properties and flip them out. He's been doing it successfully. He backed out of his contracts recently, took a loss on one, let them keep his deposit, or at least so far. And this is a letter he got for one of his buyers over the weekend. And Phil helped me sell. He was one of my main realtors selling short sales. His wife helped me negotiate them. Phil, we've been talking about it. We've known it's coming. I've only hinted at it. We've been predicting it together on the phone for months. But here it is. Unfortunately, this loan will not be able to fund his schedule and they said DO, so I put sick. I don't even know. I make typos all of them. You'll see I make massive typos. To the mortgage industry, non-QM market freezing. Non-QM means I made a note here. Non-QM or non-qualified mortgage loans are for borrowers who don't qualify with tax returns or pay stubs. So these are for the types of loans business owners get. Now, the lender said, the non-QM market freezing and temporarily suspending all current loan approvals as of today, which this loan falls under, there's a typo, due to being a non-warrantable property. As you are aware, the world is in the middle of a global pandemic, unlike anything anyone has ever seen. This is not only affecting the health of people worldwide, but also the global financial markets. The only option at this time is to extend the close of escrow, that's COE, and hope that non-QM market comes back quickly. All right, so we know lots of people are unemployed. I have friends who are chefs. I talk to my son has friends who are chefs. I talk to them. My son worked in a restaurant. All these restaurant people, the restaurant are down to like a skeleton staff, like the owner, a chef, and some takeout order people at best. All these commercial loans on all these properties where businesses are closed right now. I mean, I've talked to business owners. I've stood in line with them at Costco. Some of them are month to month. Some of them have 2 months of savings, and it's over. I'm sure. Well, put it this way. I will send me your questions. I'll talk to you about it. If you're on the loan, this is not the video for that. If you're personally responsible for the loan, I would immediately call your lender and talk to you about suspending payments. Get everything in writing. Everything has to be in writing. If you're in real estate, we'll talk about it in the next videos. But let me just say, okay, so this is the first thing. The mortgage market has seized up for unqualified mortgages. Now, let's couple that with something else that's on my website. I just put it all together just so people don't think I'm being completely irresponsible explaining this. The Fed today, previously they said they were going to buy a certain amount of mortgage-backed securities. Today they said they're going to buy unlimited securities. Adds multifamily mortgages, treasuries, and there's a link at my website to Housing Wire. And there was also something like this at Bloomberg and many other places. Let me just say, while this is awesome, our biggest risk now, I think we know the real estate, the stock market's collapsing. It's down over 30%. It's forecasting a massive recession, maybe a depression. We got this guy named, I didn't even post this today. Let me see if I can pull this up. Barack talks about 30% unemployment. I might have put this in, but I couldn't find it. Unemployment. Let's see if that pulls up. Let me pull this over now. I'm going to pull this up. Fed's Bullard. Sorry. Fed's Bullard's jobs rate may soar to 30%, Fed's Bullard said. This is a Fed president from St. Louis. That's stunning. And then what else? Oh, there's an old version of the website. Let's put it before I put these things here. And then we've got, and then here, in response to what I knew over the weekend from last week, from Friday, might have been Thursday, California Association of Realtors has pulled out, here, I'll just pull it up here. They've created a coronavirus addendum. Now, this is sort of force majeure, an intro, and now they've got terms that buyers and sellers could agree to. Buyer and seller agree to postpone close of escrow for up to 30 days or whatever you want to accommodate unforeseen circumstances, after which either party may cancel the agreement, and buyer's deposit shall be returned minus fees and costs incurred by buyer. No notice of buyer or seller to perform nor demand shall be required. So this is like, let's suspend it for 30 days, and then people can cancel, or 90, with no harm, no foul, although I'm sure sellers will be perturbed. Buyers maybe spent money also on inspections. If checked, buyer and seller agree, notwithstanding that buyer may have removed their loan contingency, if buyer's inability to fund the loan and close escrow is due to buyer's loss of income from COVID-19 related issues, then either party may cancel the agreement and buyer's deposit shall be returned to buyer. So this is like prospectively, if the buyer, to encourage buyers to buy, they're saying if you lose your income due to COVID, you're out. At least that's how I read it. Finally, one option is buyer and seller agree to mutually cancel the agreement and buyer's deposit shall be returned to buyer minus fees and costs incurred by buyer. So all of these are sort of very helpful to buyers during COVID, I suppose, to encourage more buying. It's difficult. We're hearing talks of agents. People are afraid to come to properties, based on, well, I didn't even want to speculate. We'll go into that in other things. So, California Association of Realtors, realizes there's a major problem. Some buyers are unable to perform right now because of funding issues. We're wondering, from time to time, events overtake the ability of parties to contract to allocate risk of non-performance. Such events are often addressed by the force majeure clause, allowing a party to suspend or terminate performance when circumstances which parties could not have anticipated or which are beyond their control make performance of the contract impossible or impractical. The current world coronavirus pandemic has had unprecedented impact on real estate transactions, including by limited to travel restrictions, self-imposing governmentally required isolations, and closures of both government and private offices required to fund, close, and record real estate transactions. Accordingly, in the event complying with the close of escrow is not possible or practical as a result of unforeseen circumstances related to COVID-19, such as buyers or sellers' inability to travel to sign documents, closings of, or delays and related to government and business services, including, for example, delays by closing of lenders, title, escrow, county assessor, recorder, otherwise, hereinafter unforeseen circumstances, the parties agree as follows. Okay, so now the level of crisis. It might be minor. Maybe it'll come back rather quickly. I'd suppose that would require a very quick change in the status of COVID, either because the warm weather burns it out, because one of these, I know people break it down between, vaccines and therapy. So maybe because the therapies are very successful, maybe because vaccines are on the horizon and people go back to normal quickly. There will have been dislocations. I imagine the stock market will anticipate it. I imagine the government at that point could step in and coax the private money back into the mortgage market and maybe guarantee things, and things could unseize and unwind, and maybe will return and jobs will come back. I would be, in that case, anticipating a major slowdown, but maybe will return. But the downside is that the calls for 18 months to a vaccine could mean 2 to 3 years before we see an economic recovery. And frankly, I want to bring up 3 things now. This should be in another rant. I'm going to rant. We see Trump maybe not acting quickly enough, hoping to stop panic, and maybe not being accurate about the crisis. Granted. Hopefully Pence steps up. I mean, he's put his career on the line with a good response, working together. Everyone seems to like Fauci. I think he's straight up so far. Maybe we can get things going there. We see, as of today, we see the Democrats sticking pork in these bills. I find that reprehensible. Maybe put the pork in a second bill, get things funded properly right now. But this is the scariest thing. I know this is the risk. I don't know enough about what's going on in the markets. I wish I knew more. I have a feeling as strong as anybody's, because I traded through this successfully back during the NASDAQ crisis, and I helped people during the short sale crisis, and I think we know the markets are seizing. This time, maybe China's not even buying seconds. We don't know what's going on. But the biggest risk we have right now to our country coming back strong is if the Federal Reserve uses all this money to buy unlimited things and it turns us into a Weimar Republic, hyperinflation. If we have to start using wheelbarrows full of dollars to go to the grocery store because the dollar devalued, not because the cost of particular groceries went up. How will we get people working again? How would like a works project from Depression era ideas work if people aren't going to be willing to work because the money they agree to work for will be worthless in 10 days, 5 days, 3 days because of hyperinflation? How will farmers, like one, I loved U.S. economic history. We studied the Depression college, not making me an expert, but there's so much misinformation about the Depression that I don't know that there are many experts in the world on it. But it was odd in that there was plenty of supply. It just wasn't getting to the markets. The people didn't have the money to buy it. But we had, there was so many oddities. That's what we covered in our classes. That's what we were tested about, is that people could make it. There wasn't anything to sell it. So I think the Fed's like, let's learn our lesson and step in and make sure there's plenty of cash in the system. I don't think this system this is different. This is we're collapsing because people are indoors. We're collapsing. If we flood the market with cash, what's going to happen? Prices will go insane, and the Fed won't have the bullets to actually pick us up out of this bottom. They cannot be buying, like right now, Disney. We spent, Disney borrowed $6 billion. Princess Cruises was borrowing hundreds of millions, not the cruises, one of the cruises, Royal Caribbean. We've got all these companies that are taking huge hits, like cruise lines, movie theaters, entertainment, I'm sure sports industries, restaurants, real estate. The important thing is that we keep our assets in place, even if they devalue in price, so that when it's over, the smart people can come back in, buy up these assets, and deploy them in an efficient business-like manner, and we keep the people alive. So we need, in the short run, the Fed and the government should be making sure the trucking and the farmers get to the market, and we keep the people in place in the housing. So, like, that income, that $2,000, it should be guaranteed income, not means tested. People are getting hammered all over, right? Guaranteed income, $2,000 instead of trillions of dollars to bail out corporate bonds. The assets of those companies will be there. They'll regroup stronger with great individuals later. Let's not spend trillions of dollars on things that have to come down in value. Let's spend our trillion on the people and on the truckers and on the farmers and on keeping people in their homes. Let's go down Maslow's hierarchy, right? Let's keep our society functioning. Do not create hyperinflation trying to save markets that shouldn't be and can't be saved right now. They'll be regrouped. They'll be born again. Let us bail out the people. Let us make sure of the basic core industries. I don't know, maybe we got to bring in the National Guard to be ready to learn how to farm, to be ready to truck goods in. The trucks will be there to make sure gasoline gets to the trucks. This is just off the top of my head. I'm sure that I'm sure that the military already has these things set in place. I'm just saying, let's not ask the Federal Reserve to do stupid crap right now, right? Federal Reserve, be the mature people. Yeah, I know we all criticized you for causing the smart people criticize you for tightening and causing the Great Depression, and you probably were responsible. But right now, look, some of your friends, some of your banker friends, some of those people used to attach to your money spigot, the zombie banks should have died, right? Not died. Their businesses should have died out. We saved zombie banks. Your bullets are now gone. We've kept inflation artificially low for years. What does Drucker say? We need to creative destruction here. So let's let the creative destruction, let's let it work. The assets aren't going to go away. The people are, and the value of the assets are going to go down. Then those people will find credit. They'll find lenders. They'll regroup. They'll buy it at cheaper prices in bankruptcy sales. And those industries will go leaner and meaner and get the job done again. It's all going to be there. Those cruise ships will still be there. Maybe they'll need a little maintenance. But let's not buy up corporate bonds with trillions of dollars creating massive inflation. We saw what QE did to the dollar, quantitative easing 1. Maybe it was 2 and 3. People grouped it. But in this mortgage crisis 2.0, I implore the Fed to let us know of their plan to make sure we keep the core C's, to keep people healthy and alive and fed, and not with the corporate welfare. I realize the Fed is privately owned and there's private bankers, and the private bankers get to make the decisions. I don't mind if the private bankers stay in charge. Great. Okay, so those who think this is a conspiracy theory, go to the Fed website and realize that the people who control the Federal Reserve are the shareholders in the regional Federal Reserve banks. The Federal Reserve banks control it. And if the government who appoints the board, the board has to act unanimously by decision. So the only way things change is with the consent of the shareholders of the private Federal Reserve banks. We don't know who those shareholders are. The Federal Reserve is privately owned shareholders, not, they're on some. Don't be confused. This isn't like a publicly traded company. It's not. It's like a privately traded company, right? And with private shareholders, and they make decisions. And I'm not saying replace the Fed. I'm begging the Fed to make sure that they don't create a Weimar Republic here. That's all. Let's realize the most important thing is the ability to incentivize the markets to work when it's time, and currently where it's important. I'm sorry about the rant. We'll be talking about loans, loan forbearance, loan mods, all the lessons we learned. Maybe when you decide, we'll talk about all that in next videos. This was, I guess, my rant video. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye. John McConnin, UpsideDownRealEstate.com. We're going to be doing this a lot because we're already getting calls. Already got a short sale call. Already people asking about, not only my own clients I keep separately, but other people making calls about their rights and responsibilities under a contract where closings are supposed to happen, just like that form. Yeah, so much more. We'll be getting back on soon. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye. John McConnin, real estate attorney and broker in California. UpsideDownRealEstate.com is where we're going to be tracking this. Thanks. Bye.